And Tom Pace would not replace the lines, even though they went across his property and even though it was his responsibility. So he didn't replace them.
Why not? Is he difficult?
He can't be.
Oh.
He's just not somebody that you might, let's just put it this way. I'm not going to say anything. However, you just need to... Don't depend on.
I see.
And the whole ranch, we have a property listed for 4.2,
Right.
which is 3 ranch homes, and they've been off of Pace's water for a long time. And so they rely on catchment. They have 166,000 gallons of catchment. Whoever purchases this property should probably put a couple watersheds on there. A couple catchment tanks to get some extra water. They actually, it's cheaper for them, they found, or slightly more expensive for them to haul in water and fill up if it's dry.
Yeah.
And know when it's actually going to show up, because you never knew when that tap was going to be turned off or turned on based upon what Tom needed. So it was kind of a hit and miss.
Oh, I see. Anyway.
He might need it for another property, so he would shut it off, and all of a sudden you'd have no water. So they found it was more consistent if they needed extra water for the ranch homes and the livestock to have it just trucked up.
Oh.
So yeah, if somebody's going to be reforesting here or anywhere, or any kind of water usage that's going to be necessary,
Yeah.
then you probably would want to be self-contained. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'd rely on that, even though it is available.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, anything up in this, anything in this elevation that you're not going to get public water.
Okay. So this is the top pin of the 97 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kind of shoots almost kind of straight across there.
Okay.
So the lot is more rectangular, huh? Because on the GPS it showed more...
Yeah, kind of a straight shot.
Okay.
Straight shot.
Okay.
It's a pretty straight line. In other words, it's a fairly straight line, except for a little jog on this top boundary, but it's a fairly straight line across.
Yeah, I see that. Okay. And there's no, like, intermittent stream bed or anything like that around here? Okay.
No, you don't really get that on the Kona side.
Just way out. Well, there's a few, but...
Yeah, you rarely hear about them actually running, but no intermittent streams. Apparently there was a spring on one of these properties, but hard to say if it's still active or not.
Yeah.
Mal, the ranch manager, would probably know where that might be located. But whether you could draw water from it, I don't know. Again, I wouldn't count on that.
Okay. Yeah.
But could you do a reservoir? I mean, if
Sure.
it was...
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, matter of fact, if I were to buy one of these properties, I'd probably dig a nice reservoir, have some basically build some sheds of some sort, get some roof space, draw some catchment, because it does, it has been dry up here, but it does rain. And actually, on these lower parcels, it rains more than the upper ones.
Yeah.
And catch the water as much as you can. As, your roof space is going to dictate how much water you catch. Do it. A lot of these guys have these corrugated roofs over a catchment tank, and they draw as much as they can.
Is this? Okay. I didn't see that. I forgot to look at the boundary again between the two. That's okay. You'll give us an approximate in the middle.
Yeah.
So this is the bottom of the 127.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then this is the Pace property here on this side.
It's not the Paces. This is some, I forgot the name of the folks, but this is actually an access. The current owner, because this fence has been here so long, ended up giving this owner, I think about 7 acres, because the fence was just a little bit too far in, and they're not going to move the fence, so she just deeded him about 7 acres off of this property. Nice, very thin pipe piece, and she would just kind of retain access to be able to obviously get to the lower section here.
So this would be how you would get into the lower one then?
Yes. Well, you could get in from the roadway. All these parcels are accessible from the roadway.
But yeah, you'd have to sort of work on that a little bit.
You would.
wouldn't
You would.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this one is another
This will give us an actual access today. It's not illegal. In other words, if these two parcels are separated, eventually that may go away.
Oh,
So you want to build a road in from the.
uh-huh,
But on this lower parcel here, yeah, you would have access from the road or here.
okay.
The middle parcel with all the trees, not necessarily. Because somebody, whoever buys this bottom parcel might fence off their section.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, do me a favor. Can you